Paul. How are you today?
Good.
Good,
Thanks,
good, good.
Thanks for talking to me about this. I'm
well,
excited.
Thank you for welcoming us. It's a lovely day here
It
in
is,
San
it is.
Francisco. It is. We're going to talk a little bit about the play that is going to be in the book. Very excited to have your company in the book, so thank you for that.
I am very excited about that.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your company first before we do that?
Sure, yeah. Venables, Bell & Partners is an advertising agency, but of course we do a lot more than advertising. We are I always consider us the consigliere of our clients, which means we know where the bodies are hidden.
Never heard it described that way.
And so we help them with strategic things and initiatives, obviously creativity, we're a creative agency, but also experiences, marketing experiences now in this new and crazy world can happen anywhere and anything, whether they're digital or in real life. So we cover a gamut to try to help clients be more effective. We've always we're a one-office agency, independent on the West Coast. What that means is it gives us a lot of leeway and freedom to truly serve our clients. All I care about is doing right by my clients and my employees. When you have shareholders and when you're owned by someone, when they enter the conversation, it changes everything because you're legally bound to serve shareholders. And so we are a little bit purer that way. So we're independent, we're very creative. We have considered offices around the globe, and when the time is right and it makes sense for our clients, we will do that. But until then, we are happy to be here, about 200 people.
And you keep growing in this office, don't you? Taking over different floors.
We do. We started with 2 floors. We started in like what I would call our garage startup space, and then we moved here, which is a beautiful building, and then we've been lucky and blessed to have grown, and now we have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, and 8th floors. So we're doing okay.
I do think it's a lovely office. My only suggestion is you need a slide from the top to the bottom.
Yes, that would.
Yeah, I think that would be very
when
nice.
When we were designing it, there was talk of a fire pole.
Ooh, that would be nice.
It
Very good. Yes.
I don't know if there was an insurance issue or building maintenance wouldn't approve of that. The other thing is that we have what I call real accounts. We're not trying to win awards on little side projects. We want meaningful accounts, and we try to do meaningful work. I mentioned REI. We have Audi. We do all of their work for Audi of America. We actually work with them globally as well. We do Reebok. We have 3M, which has wonderful brands like Post-it Notes and Scotch Tape, etc. We have Sheridan Weston, Miller Coors, significant brands, a piece of PlayStation business. We've worked in the past with Google and Intel and eBay and Barclays, the bank. And so we have tried to focus on real accounts, real business, and try to move it forward meaningfully.
So, picking up on a couple of words that you said, so you talked a lot about how you've got a lot of creatives, no surprise, doing what you're doing, and also about the experiences. So if I bring that into employee engagement, it's good and it's bad, so it's challenging. So you've got a bunch of creative people. How do you engage creative people? What's your trick for getting them excited to, they're the face of your company. How do you make sure that they're, excited about the company and what they're doing?
Yeah, creative people are not just the face of the company, the heart and soul of the company. Oh, by the way, they're the product.
Yeah,
that's what we sell.
Good point. Yeah, you're selling your people.
They're the craftsmen of what we do, and we come up with ideas. How do you manage creative people is an age-old question, and a lot of places get that really wrong. And so we have a couple of basic tenets. Honest, fearless, and independent are our values. Creative people do not like to be bullshitted about anything. In fact, if you know good creative people, they have the most highly calibrated bullshit detectors that exist. And so you have to be straight and you have to be honest. They want to do bold, and powerful work, impactful work. So fearlessness. You can't be too risk averse. You can't be too shy. And so how you work and the kind of work you're after is very much a key starting point in managing creatives. Then a couple other things I think follow from that. One is, they like to know what's going on. You can't just leave them in the dark. You can't just go, oh, we decided to take a different turn. They want to know, why did you take that turn? When are we taking that turn? How fast are we going through that turn? And what's the next stop after that? So you kind of have to bring them along in the process. So a lot of transparency, a lot of conversation. They have egos, and we try to squash ego in the sense that ego does not dictate anything around here, I hope. But we also want to nurture people and make them feel confident and good and loved, right? And those things bring out creativity because when people are comfortable, and they feel good in that environment, and they know what they do, they're going to get credit for, and someone else is going to steal their idea, or they're not going to, get swept aside. When they are treated that way, they're going to rise to the occasion and do their best work. So our environment has to be collaborative and fun and rewarding, but all with substance.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk to me about culture and advertising, and invariably, if you sit long enough in those conversations, culture becomes, oh, we have beer and foosball on Fridays, or we threw a good party. And it's
And
like,
you're going to have fun.
yeah, and you're going to have fun, corporate sponsored fun, right? Asterisk, lawyer. And that's just not, and that's not what we're talking about. Culture to me always happens in the most, and sometimes the most difficult conversations, the one-on-ones, meaningful one-on-ones where you actually show that you care about someone's career or their development or an issue they're having that they have to correct, but you actually care about it and you're going to work with them on it.
Yeah.
And that kind of environment, that's where culture really comes out.
And that honesty and transparency, all those things that you talked
and
about.
So that's, managing creatives, herding cats, same job. But I think if you do it with your heart and you do it with that kind of honesty, they're gonna rally around you.
Well, I've been told you have someone who has a title of Queen of Heart and Soul.
Queen of Heart and Soul.
Yes.
Not Queen. Yeah, not the Queen of Soul. That's taken.
Oh, okay.
Aretha Franklin has that, I believe. Queen of Heart and Soul. Yeah, because she, first of all, has been in this place for a long time and has seen it and knows it, and also knows the culture and the values and what drives it and why it's different and why it exists and how we've treated people. And so she's wonderful. And we also have a cultural curator who is a guy who also he's been here about 5 years, so a little bit newer to the game, but he understands not only the culture, but then what kinds of things would we do to advance it and to cultivate it. And he has all kinds of great ideas, and he bounces them off a lot of people, and creatives included, and we kind of figure out, okay, we'll do that program. That's us. Let's do that.
Yeah. I think the fact that you make it a full-time job shows that it's really important, because it's difficult to do it on the side. Life gets too busy. So the fact that you've got two people, but one's a queen, is the other person jealous that he doesn't have a title?
Yeah, well, this is the kind of queen that if you met her, you don't fuck with her. So he accepts
He's okay with that then, okay.
And the other thing too is that if you don't invest in it, whether it's positions or programs, you end up with, hey, we have a ping pong table, isn't that fun?
Right.
And that's not culture.
Well, and again, as you said before, with the product being the people, you need everybody to embody the culture, because they're out there representing your company day in and day out.
They're the ambassadors of what we do and who we are, whether that's in a client meeting or working with a partner or a vendor. People treat vendors like vendors.
Right.
We try to treat them like partners, because that's a reflection on us. If we don't say please and thank you, you're bad on us.
So let me ask you a little bit about the play that's in the book. So there's lots of things that you're doing well, so it's difficult to pick one. But the one that I wanted to talk about was, just because it was a bit unique, was what you do to recognize when people stay with your company. Something about a boot?
Yes.
A boot? Not from Canada, a boot.
And not a boot.
No,
not
a boot,
yeah.
yes.
And not the boot where we kick you out the door.
No, that's
a different boot.
Okay.
And it's funny, we were just a few years old, and we started to notice that unlike advertising, people move. It's a young people's business, and they move 18 months, 2 years, or whatever, and they're popping. And so we started to notice, actually, people were kind of sticking. And we were excited by that. And so we, again, with our programs, we want to cultivate that. We want to create that continuity and that culture where people feel like they've had, this is a home, and they can find their place. And so we came out. So then we came upon. It came to our attention that a bunch of people were going to hit their 5-year anniversary, and 5 years in advertising is like dog years.
Yes.
It's a long bloody time, and so we were like, what do we do for them? And so we came up with this idea, and I'm not exactly sure how the boot came to be. But
I was hoping you would tell me that.
Well, you know what it was? I think it was a little bit of like a weird drinking chalice. So this glass.
You do have it over there to show. Yes.
Okay, so here's the boot. So it is
I love it.
It's quite a cocktail glass. It's got a 5-year tab and a logo, and so I don't think I've seen anybody ever drink out of this, nor have I seen it used to fend anybody off in a violent act. So both, I guess, are a victory.
Yes.
But the 5-year boot came to be because, and it's a tab. So we decided there was one hole in the wall place that we'd all seem to gravitate to blow off some steam after work called the Irish Bank. And we decided, you know what if we rewarded people by giving them a tab there? So everybody at 5-Year Boot gets a $1,000 tab at the Irish Bank for the year, and it renews every year another $1,000. And what I love about it is that it's recognition, yes, because it acknowledges, look, you're a veteran.
Yeah.
But it came with a little responsibility in the sense that when they take that tab, one of the key thoughts is, okay, you've been here, you're a veteran, you're a grizzled veteran. Share what you know. Give a little bit of yourself. Mentor, talk to people, coach people, share some fun even with the newbies. So take that money and take a bunch of people out to lunch, some of whom you don't know, some of whom aren't in your department and you don't interact with. Take people out to lunch, take them to after work drinks. And so it was a way to create some sort of cross-pollination of the old veterans who know us and know what it takes to succeed here and what we believe in and care about, and the youngsters who are just wide-eyed and hungry and green. And it's been wonderful, and so it's evolved, and certain things have happened. So we changed. You could go to the Irish Bank, and then we added other places in town because I think people got sick of it.
You still get the boot, though.
You get the boot,
oh, good,
you know,
good.
but you get sick of the chicken wings at the Irish Bank. There's another place you can go to, 2 or 3. And then the other thing that happened is then some people really started using it for one-on-one engagement. So when they wanted to coach someone, or someone was having a personal issue with it, but you know, somebody else in the either department or they work with wanted to go, hey, let's talk, and how can we work through that? Or mentorship one-on-one. So it's a one-on-one vehicle. And then recently, a couple of old timers came together, and they asked if they could do this. I love this. They came to us. Can we do this? Can we pool our boot money and throw a party and invite everybody? And so they did that. So 3 of them
takes it that one step further,
yes,
doesn't
exactly,
it? It does, yeah.
So 3 of them got together, pooled their boots, and it was a 3-legged, I don't know what, and we had a party, and it was fantastic. And they picked the venue, and it was like this kind of, it was like a pool hall, you know, that's what they wanted to do, and they made posters for it and sent it out to everybody, and of course a bunch of people showed up, and it was just, wow, what a great, again, you know, connecting people that maybe otherwise wouldn't normally connect.
And do they try to do that? So they try to reach people in different areas to make that connection?
Yeah, and we really encourage that. Like we remind them, you know, I think maybe once a year we have like a boot holders meeting. You know, it's not shareholders, it's a boot holder. And
do you have to bring your boot with you?
No, because there would be broken boots everywhere. And so, you know, when we talk about things like, hey, should we expand it to some other restaurants or bars in town, or what? And that's when this idea, hey, can we do a party and sponsor it ourselves? And so there's a dialogue, and there's a reminder that, hey, get out there, go invite some people to hang out with and share, you know, and not just our culture, but your personal story, because that matters, because you're one of us, and you clearly, you know, have what it takes to survive and succeed here. So share that.
So I know when I met you, we were at a conference, and when you told that story, everybody, I mean, you could hear a pin drop, because it really is unique. It is very creative, which again makes sense given what you do. Have you heard of anybody else do anything like that?
No.
I haven't.
And if they do, let me know, because I'll sue them. No, I'm kidding.
It's your boot.
I encourage anybody that sees this and wants to use it, do it, because it's just a great program that, hey, it connects people. So I'm a big fan of that. So I think it's a good thing.
And it's that responsibility because, you know, yes, you've been here for 5 years, but as you said, it comes with some responsibility. So no, I like that. And do people feel recognized?
Yes, they do, because we make a big, so the Christmas party we have is a big shindig. And we have a whole set of...
we can come back for that if you need us to film this. For research for the book.
I'll show you my dance moves. And we do a big thing, and it has a couple of components that I particularly like. We have a bunch of awards. We have some creative awards that we give out. But we make a big point of like stopping the awards ceremony and announcing this year's boot winners, because usually there's multiple people who have kind of survived together, and call them on the stage and say nice things about them. And so it's a big moment then. Right. And then it sits at your desk, so it's a constant reminder. Other people see it. It's a little bit of a badge of honor, you know, or courage, depending on how you look at it, or it's stupidity if you look at it that way. And people see that, and they recognize you as kind of an elder statesman of some sort. And then it comes with this other thing where you're out there, you're using it. You know, people like to go, this next round's on me. You know, like that's a fun thing to do, and this gives them that opportunity.
But it gives it more of a life. It's like, you know, your wedding happens in 2 seconds. You get recognized for 5 years, and then life goes on. But the fact that you have it on your desk, you celebrate it at different times, it makes it mean
it's our version of, I guess, of a wedding ring. I mean, mine has a rivet on this side my wife installed that holds it in place, but no, it is. It's a visible manifestation, a reminder of, hey, you matter, you're with us, you're one of us, you get us, you know, we love you.
So if you were a company who was thinking about doing something unique like this, is there any suggestions that you have for them? Things that you've learned through doing this? I
would brainstorm what it is. So we brainstormed and someone had this idea for this boot, but I think having a little, like if you gave them a big, some stupid, paperweight, it's almost better if it's quirky and has no real utility or relevance, just some, and it's it's of a certain size, so there's a visibility.
You can't miss that boot.
Yeah, there's a visibility, not a certificate, whatever. So I would just encourage you to come up with something quirky, a big stuffed animal or whatever it is. A rubber chicken would be a good one.
Ooh, maybe you could do that for 10 years.
Yes.
There you go, rubber chicken.
Chicken, we'll call it.
I think we've come up with a new idea.
I think we have.
For the next book, we'll put that one
Chapter,
in. There you go.
Version 2.0. Go quirky and have fun with it and get other people, I can't feel too corporate. If any people distrust when the corporation speaks, when the company's mandates or so when you have more people involved, and particularly people that aren't necessarily senior or leadership, but those cultural people that everybody respects or knows are fun or knows that they're, bring them, invite them into it, and then it gives the company legitimacy when then you roll it out and you go, so and so helped us do this, and everybody's standing there in the town hall meeting goes, oh, that's good. They check with the right people.
It's the buy-in, and also, I mean, I'm the first to admit I'm never the one with the great ideas, but I surround myself with people with great ideas.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, so
that's my trick too.
Yeah, great. Well, anything else that you want to say about the program, or just anything in general that you want to talk about in regards to engagement?
I'll just talk a little bit about that Christmas party, because there's a couple things, and then there's one other little project, and I'll mention it. But what I love about the Christmas party, because I went to a lot of Christmas parties in my career in advertising, and one thing was always true: spouses were not invited, significant others were not invited.
It is very common, yes.
Right? Well, it's expensive.
To save money.
Well, you just literally immediately doubled the expense. We have always invited spouses and significant others and partners, because they're part of this family too in a weird way, because we have mom or dad here a lot, and we share that mom or dad with another side, and it's nice to all to get together and celebrate. And so we actually even have, we have a bunch of awards. We have an Employee of the Year award, of course, but we have one called the Spousal / Significant Other / Partner Award.
Really?
We literally give
Never
the
heard of
award
that.
not to the employee,
but
to the spouse or significant.
How do you pick the person?
We find out, maybe somebody has a newborn at home and they were working a lot, or they were traveling, or or there's somebody who's always been very supportive of the agency, or their wife or their husband working here, and we call them up on stage and we celebrate them like they're a big employee, and we usually send them away to Sonoma to have a weekend away together as a couple with massages and restaurant and the whole thing.
Great.
So it's but it's just a small gesture, but it reaches out to really key audience, which is the loved ones of the people who actually work here. They matter.
Yeah. Especially in an industry like yours, I'm sure that there's times where you have to work very late at night, because that's what the client needs.
Exactly. We're a service business.
Exactly. So you want your partner to support you.
To at least understand, hey, tonight's a late one because we have to figure this out. So, some other awards that night we give away are the Ass Kicker Award. That's a great one.
Is it a good award or a bad award?
No, it's
you want that award.
You want that award.
Okay.
That means you take care of business. We give away. There's one called the Glutton for Punishment for anybody's return to the company. They've left and come back. We always have a few of those. We have something called the Noah Award. We named it after some guy who's still here, who's just contributed to the culture so much. He's the cultural curator, that if anybody else has that kind of same impact culturally, they get the Noah Award. We have one called the Multiplier Award. Everything they touch, they make much better. And what we do in turn for that one is we take their salary for January and double it. So they, no matter what they're making in January, they get a double salary because they're a multiplier.
That's great.
We have one called the Golden Toilet Award, and they literally get a golden toilet, full size. And then they go, what do I do with that? We go, I don't know, we'll put it in the closet again for next year. No, some people used to put it by their
desk. Oh, you don't
desks.
get to keep it.
You do, if you want, but then people
might
have room near their desk or whatever. And that one is for
Do I want to know? Can we say this on tape?
Well, yeah, I guess. It's for taking care of shit gracefully. And with class. You get the golden toilet. So a lot of people, that are in the trenches, there's a way to reward people in the trenches.
Yes.
The people who do dishes well and that you really value because they do a tough job well, is a way to just give them a little extra credit. I mentioned the spells. Of course, we have an Employee of the Year award. I think Coach of the we had a Coach of the Year. So anybody that shows that skill in mentoring gets a Coach of the Year award. So we try to keep it diverse and fun. And every year we often, not every year, but I'd say almost every year we invite for people to suggest other awards and then who might win them. So sometimes you get really creative, funny.
Yes. That's a great idea to keep it fresh. Also.
And then that one may never appear again, but that year we had that silly one.
Yeah.
So it's been great. It's I think, again, a little bit of creativity applied to awards and recognition makes it so much more meaningful.
It does.
A little effort makes it feel special and valued, and now we have people vote on things and see, and so they feel like they participate in it. And
a cookie cutter approach is not going to work, especially in your industry.
Exactly.
I don't think anywhere, but no, definitely.
And then the last thing I wanted to touch on was, I mentioned our values, our principles, honest, fearless, and independent. Interestingly enough, honest and fearless don't exist to the degree they do without independent.
You're right.
When you're part of a big corporate holding company, you're a little less, you're a little more conservative. You can't take the risks, so the fearlessness. You also might not be dishonest, but you might not be quite as boldly honest. One thing I like to say is that we're the kind of agency that if you're the client, we will point and go, the emperor's naked. We have no problem calling the emperor naked.
They probably appreciate it, though.
And let's figure out how we're going to get some clothes on it, because I don't want to look at that mole anymore. You know what I mean? So we do that with clients, and they appreciate it. They do appreciate it, and I think that's one of the reasons they come to us. And so that's where independence really is a valuable thing. But for fearlessness, we created something called the Fearless Project. And last year, we put out the word that we're going to give $15,000 to fund someone doing something fearless. Convince us.
Wow.
And so we heard pitches. We heard 30 pitches, and they do presentations. They had deadlines and presentations, and we narrowed it down to 5 or 6, and then we had them pitch again to the whole agency, and had real-time voting right there on the spot who won.
Oh, that's great.
And so this young guy won, Irish guy from Ireland, who decided he wanted to travel through hostile countries to the LGBT community. So he went through Mongolia and China and Russia and document the lives of the LGBT community in those places. A lot of it in secret, a lot of it being hostily oppressed.
Wow.
And fearlessly
definitely fearless.
I was like, pack a gun, please. No. And he went in there. He created a whole separate identity on Facebook in case he got stopped because he had to prove that he was, straight if the authorities cornered. He did so, and he shot a film that we've seen chunks of it in a trailer for it, and interviews and life. It's amazing. It's so human, and it's beautiful. And he was truly fearless, and so that was last year's winner. And so we just put the call out recently again send your entries in and make your pitches, and so we'll do that again.
I think what I like about that, it does two things again. It seems like every program you have does at least two things. So it aligns with your values. So not everybody can go out and do a Fearless Award if it's not part of your values.
Yep.
And it recognizes people for doing something a bit different. Was it difficult to pick the one, though, where employees
No,
pretty
because
much
we
aligned?
let them do it.
Yeah,
It was easy. It was reasonably difficult to call, right? So we got 5 or 6 that were great, and then we thought they're all good in their own way. We actually ended up helping. Like somebody had this idea to do a book drive for this orphanage in Malawi, and so we ended up just as a company sponsoring the book drive. So we kind of just did that one on the side,
right? Right.
And so there was elements of that, but then the people voted, and so it was easy. And that's the third thing that programs seem to do, even these silly awards that we give out, is it does engage everybody. So you may not win it, but you're voting on it, or you're submitting names that you think should win it, or you're part of the fun of the pitch, or now we all watched the trailer together, and there were tears and laughter and cheering, and so it's a
get to
communal
know each other.
thing. Yeah, so each program is giving back in that way as well.
Brilliant. You've got lots of fantastic things that you're doing.
Thank you.
book chapter's getting bigger and bigger now. Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your
No,
time.
this was fantastic.
I really
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
thinking of me. I really am I'm flattered and honored that you reached back out and that we're doing this, so thank you.